Hey, what's good, everybody? Just want to welcome you guys to a brand new video brought to you by I am Nelson89. And as always, if you're coming across this video, please like, subscribe, and share it. You know, just making these videos, trying to build up this channel as much as I can, trying to be a lot more consistent than what I used to be. And yeah, I just hope you guys are enjoying this content so far that I've been dropping. But so let's get into today's video. Today's video is a CD update video that I wanted to do. And if you look at the title, it says CD update, No Limit Records, OG CD pressing. So I got about 4 CDs that I've bought probably in the last year or so. Because some of these I've actually had, well, excuse me, not some of these 4, I've actually had for quite a while. Because, there was a long period where this channel was inactive and I wasn't really doing anything. And in that time, I managed to find these 4 CDs. Some of them I found them at record stores, used copies that were in really good condition. And I think the rest of them I found on the internet, eBay and those type of sites, man. But I'm really excited to have these OG CD pressings of No Limit Records, man, because even though not all of them, but a good many of them have been reissued throughout the years, it just doesn't have the same feel as the OG pressings. Because anybody that's a No Limit fan, aside from the music that's included on the albums, one of the hugest interests that most No Limit fans have was the cover artwork. The special kind of cases that No Limit Records uh, released their CDs through, as well as the liner notes, which had them advertising all the upcoming No Limit releases, man. That was one of the biggest draws to No Limit Records, was how Master P promoted, a lot of those other artists' records in the liner notes and stuff, man. So that's one of the biggest things about having a copy of an OG No Limit CD. The special cases that they used, as well as those liner notes, man. So I got 4 CDs here that I want to show you guys that I've bought in the past year or so, and we're gonna get right to it. All right, so the first CD I have right here is Master P Ghetto D, released in 1997, man. Everybody knows this record. This record is known for the song "Make 'Em Say," which really took No Limit to the next level. Ice Cream Man was Master P's first hugely successful record, his first platinum album, and the one that really shined a lot of eyes on No Limit Records. But Ghetto D was the album that really took No Limit to the next level, and it really set the stage for their dominance within, from what, 97 to 98, 98 being the hugest year for them. This album was the one that set the stage for that. And I remember when this record dropped, uh it was big, man. Make 'Em Say was being played on the radio all the freaking time. But I think I was more of a fan of the video. The video was very huge. And I think the video had a lot to do with the song's success, because seeing Master P rolling up on the basketball court in the golden platinum tank, and all the No Limit soldiers down on the court just having a party, man. You seeing Silk coming on, spitting his verse, Fiend and Mia X and Mystical. And then Shaquille O'Neal had that cameo appearance. It's one of those videos that I always wish that I could have been a part of, because it just looked like they had so much fun doing that video, man. But this song was huge. I mean, from a critical standpoint, it's not necessarily the greatest song. Make 'Em Say, I mean, how hard is that? But honestly, man, aside from all of that, aside from the criticism or whatever, man, it's a good anthem, a song that really still gets you hyped when you hear it. But aside from that, man, you got the title song Ghetto D, which I really like how they flipped that Eric B and Rakim song and they turned it into a street track about selling drugs. And of course, C Murder had the best verse on that song, because his whole entire verse was teaching people how to cook crack in the kitchen. And I wonder how many people got busted or arrested for cooking crack in the kitchen when they heard that verse, man. And then you got the song Let's Get 'Em, which features Silta Shaka and Mystical, one of Master P's hardest songs, a fan favorite off this album. And then Mystical had illest verse on that song, especially that one line in his verse where he said, "I'll piss on your porch and shit in your house." That's a very huge quotable, very huge hip hop quotable, No Limit quotable, and that. And we'll see, Weed and Money. I always dug Weed and Money. A great song to ride to. Y'all live for bitches and blunts. We live for weed and money. I always loved that hook, man. I always thought that was a real hook. And then Captain Kirk, uh, which is another song, a song about like scandalous women taking advantage of men, or by today's standards, a song about simps, the real version of simps. Guys who will do anything to get a woman's attention that really doesn't care about them. That's the true definition of a simp, not the internet's definition of what simp is, like a guy simply being generous to a woman. No, about men who will just go out of their way to try to do anything to get a woman's affection. And one thing about Captain Kirk that didn't dawn on me was that somebody pointed this out in the video I was watching. I don't know who it was. It was somebody that was talking about how Master P kind of used to buy other artists' uh, styles and stuff of that nature. Uh, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think this song was more of like an influence on him. But they pointed out that Captain Kirk was a lot like E40's Captain Save-A-Ho. And I never really thought about it until I went back and listened to this song and then Captain Save-A-Ho. And I was like, okay, I don't think that P is necessarily biting E40, because him and E40, as far as I know, were always real cool with each other. But it's more so like an influence. I think Captain Save-A-Ho was a big influence on Captain Kirk. Everything from the style of the beat and the way that they're rhyming on the song and the subject matter, I think was just a big influence. And then let's see, you got Eyes on Your Enemies, which is another hard track on the album. Almost, you could say this is like Master P going in like horrorcore territory. Very dark and menacing song. I know my homeboy, we used to be in his Cadillac listening to this song. We this is back in them, my smoking days, man, and he used to hate this song, man. Every time it would come on, he would turn it because it would scare him. Because it's a scary song. I mean, think about getting high and listening to this song. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have some really weird kind of paranoid thoughts coming in your mind. But it's definitely one of the illest songs on here, man. And let's see here, Going Through Some Things featuring Mr. Servon. Let's see here, Gangsters Need Love Too, which I think is one of Master P's best like rap ballads. Pass Me the Green. Oh yeah, I forgot. I can't go on without talking about Pass Me the Green. Another a weed song. Definitely. I don't know who produced that song, man, but man, they did their thing on that song, man. Oh yeah, here's the CD. Yeah, the original CD pressing too, man. And whoever had this CD, they really took care of it because it looks fresh, man. It looks fresh. I'm gonna let y'all look at that, man, because it doesn't have just so y'all can see that this is an original CD pressing. But yeah, whoever had this, man, they took real good care of it. And there goes the liner notes, the famous No Limit liner notes. But yeah, Pass Me the Green, probably a top 10 weed song. Top 10 weed song. There we go right here. Saying here go more liner notes. Advertising the Last Nine, Mysticals, Unpredictable, Silk's Charges to the Game, I Got the Hookup soundtrack. But yeah, man. Yeah, Pass Me the Green, top 10. Definitely a top 10 weed song. Oh yeah, and here's the cover. This right here was actually supposed to be the original cover art. It's a dope fiend smoking like a crack pipe. And like you see the smoke is like a collage of like No Limit's history up to that point. But that was supposed to be in the original cover art. I think it was advertised in the Ice Cream Man album's liner notes as this cover. But yeah. Let's see here. And then of course, man, I can't end without talking about the last song on the album, Bourbons and Lax. One of the greatest riding hip hop songs of all time. I mean that beat. Oh man, it was just awesome, man. I know people, because for a long time Ghetto D was out of print, and people were like, downloading bootleg copies of it. When that was real big, and you could get every song on this album except for Bourbons and Lax. For some reason, when you were like illegally downloaded on the internet, you could get every song on this album except for Bourbons and Lax. But that's one of the greatest riding songs of all time. You could say it's a good smoking song too, man. But it's got that feel to it, bro. But yeah, Master P, Ghetto D. Yeah, I gotta say, I think this is Master P's best album. It's his most consistent, definitely. Uh, I don't think there's any song on this album that you can say is skippable. Every song on here is solid from start to finish, man. So it's definitely one of his most consistent albums. And as you can see, I forget what they call these cases. I forget what they call these cases that they were using. I don't know if there's a name of it on here somewhere. But this is another reason why I wanted to get my hands on OG No Limit CDs, because of I always loved their cases. They had these special cases like this that were very interesting to me, man. And see, even though P did release a 10th anniversary of this back in 2007, which I also have, but it doesn't have this special case. It doesn't have the old liner notes and everything with it. So it's just missing something for me. So I was glad to get my hands on this finally. All right, so next album I got is Master P, The Last Don, released in 1998, double set album. I think this is P's best-selling record. It was marketed as his retirement album, although that was just a marketing ploy because he ended up coming out with Only God Can Judge Me the next year. 2-disc album, a red disc, disc 1. Then you got disc 2, which is blue. And of course, you got the liner notes right here. Look, here's an advertisement of Snoop Dogg's "The Game Is to Be Sold, Not to Be Told" album, which was Snoop's first record on No Limit. I also have this. I also have I think I got an OG. Yeah, I think I got an OG copy of that. Yeah, I have an original copy of that over here somewhere in my CDs. But got the liner notes, man. And, oh yeah, it has the hologram. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has this one has the hologram cover. Yeah, yeah, you guys can see it. Has the hologram cover. Yeah, I got this off of eBay. I forget how much, man, but it wasn't. I think it was like $20 or something, maybe 30. But see, there's like a little crack right here. I think you guys can see that. There's like a little crack right here, and I think that's why it was a lot cheaper. But I wasn't really tripping on that, man. As long as the CDs were in good condition, I didn't care. But yeah, the liner notes, I guess the original 504 Boys cover, and let's see here. There go P right there. Here go other advertisements for upcoming releases and stuff. Let's see here. Yeah, there go more advertisements. Cain and Abel. I got this CD. My homeboy, he let me have this CD. I don't have the liner notes or the casing in it. He just had the CD. I got it somewhere in like my one of my CD cases. The Mean Green. I have a burnt copy of this. The Mean Green compilation. That DJ KLC mixtape, which I don't think that ever came out. And then what else? The Down South Hustlers, Making Moves. I don't know if this album ever came out. I don't think this album ever came out, but it was always advertised in No Limits liner notes. But I don't think it either. I've heard it didn't come out in America or something like that. It came out overseas somewhere. But it didn't, yeah, it wasn't released in America for some reason. That's what I heard. I don't know. But I've looked online and I've never seen any like copies of it online. So I don't think it was ever actually released. Yeah, there goes a picture of P right there. That picture is still included with the reissue that came out a few years ago, the EMI released. And then you remember back in the day when you could like buy like the No Limit T-shirts and stuff like that. It still has that order form and advertising more No Limit gear and stuff like that. But yeah, man, glad to have my hands on this. And here goes more liner notes right here, advertising upcoming releases. I think all of these albums end up coming out. Yeah, all of these albums end up getting released. Yeah, right there. But yeah, man, whoever had this CD, besides from that little crack right here, They took real good care of it, man. I'm glad to get my hands on this, man, because for a long time you couldn't find the OG copy of this. All you could find was the reissue that came out, and honestly, I didn't really care about that. Oh, hold on for a second. I want to show y'all guys something else. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that, but I just remembered I had a couple of other OG Pressing No Limit albums that I had bought since, the in between the time I did the last video and stuff. I want to go ahead and grab those two. Yeah, but yeah, man, I was so glad to find this for like, I think it was like 27 bucks, man. So maybe close to $30 at the most. And I think that's because, actually, no, I think it was like 19 something because of this crack. Yeah, I found it on eBay, man. So I was glad though. I was glad to have this, man, because uh and I'm gonna be honest with you, for a long time, I had never heard the second disc until like that reissue came out years ago. That was the first time I heard the second disc because my homeboy bought the reissue that came out back like when we was in high school, like 2007, 2008. So for a long time, the first disc was the only disc I really knew off this album when I heard it. And honestly, I think the first disc is probably the best one. And it might be because that was the only disc that I heard for so many years, man. But a lot of great songs on here. I mean, Till We Dead and Gone with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Uh, the big hit Thinking About You with Moby Dick and Mia X. What's another song here? Soldiers, Riders, and G's with Snoop Dogg, Mystical, and Silk the Shocker. Get Your Paper with E40. Let's see, Ride is a really good track on here. The Streets Keep Me Rolling. That's the one that got Fiend on it. I think, man, I don't know what. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm older, but I listened to that track, not too long after I bought this, and I was like, man, this is good. That's one thing I don't. Even though I think Ghetto D is probably P's best album, I think The Last Don is probably one of his most best produced records. Cause man, I was listening to this album and I was like, man, this sounds good. I just didn't realize how well produced this album sounded, and I also liked the social commentary that P added into a lot of the songs. Man, he was getting like really like socially conscious and political on a lot of these songs. With the song like Dear Mr. President and Black and White. I'm just a black man living in this white world. The intro where Romeo comes on about him getting in a fight with a white kid that called him the N word and stuff like that. A lot of socio-political subject matter on here, man. But man, this was a really good album, man. This was a really good album. Uh, the only drawback I don't really like about this album, I didn't really care for the Make 'Em Say number 2. I didn't really care for that song. I didn't really see no need to make a sequel to Make 'Em Say But it is what it is. I understand why P did that. It was a marketing thing. Make 'Em Say was his biggest song. So I understand why he did that, but I just thought it was pointless, man. But other than that, man, I think this is a really good record, man. I think you could probably say it's probably one of Master P's last greatest albums, honestly, man. I think Ghetto D and The Last Don kind of go hand in hand a little bit, man. But let me keep going because I don't want this to be a overly long video. So the next one, and let me tell you about this next CD. I am so glad I got my hands on this. I used to have this a long time ago. I kind of stole it from somebody, so I guess it kind of guess it was me reaping what I sowed. But yeah, C Murder's Life or Death, man. C Murder's Life or Death. Yeah, I found this on eBay, man, for a pretty reasonable price. I don't remember the price. And when I say reasonable, I mean it wasn't like over $50 or $60 like that. It was probably around the 30, 40 range. That's what I mean by reasonable. But oh man, I was so glad to get my hands on this, man. This is my favorite C Murder album. This is my favorite C Murder album, man. I think it's his best album. Some people might say Bossolini. I thought Bossolini was pretty cool, but I think Life After Death was it, man. I like Life After Death. I had this CD, like I said, I think I stole it from somebody, so I reaped what I sold because I let somebody borrow it, and they never gave it back to me. He claimed that somebody stole it, but he probably still got the CD, but he can have it now, because knowing him, it's probably not in the best condition anyway. He probably don't even have it no more. But yeah, man, I was so glad to find this. I've been looking for this album for years, trying to find copies of it, because I really started getting into buying CDs around the early 2000s, like around 2000, 2001. Well, my mom was buying them. And this album was still available. A lot of that early No Limit stuff was still available, because it was only, what, a couple of years at that point. I had no idea that stuff was going to go out of print, and it was going to be hard to come by. But yeah, I got my hands on C Murder's Life or Death, man. His first album. And whoever had this CD, they took real good care of it, man. Real good care of it. And it's some little scratches, but not much. Considering that this came out in 1998, and this is a original copy, it's well taken care of. And then, here go the liner notes right there, and you try to get this out right here, like Fiends. There's one in your family. I got this. I don't have the case, and I just got the CD. I think I still got the album cover, but I'm hoping to one day come across this and buy it again, where I can have that case, that OG case, the red, the red clay case that it came in. Hoping to find that. Then here's The Last Dawn. What else? There go a picture of C Murder right here. Oh, that's Magic's album. Cain and Abel. 504 Boys again. I got the hookup. And what's that? Oh, Soldier Slim. Advertisement for Soldier Slim. And the True Niggas album, which that album never came out, unless it might have been it could have been just it could have been like the Next True album, The Crime Family, but they just changed the title or something. But yeah, that was an advertisement for that. And there's another picture of C Murder right here. And then there's that order form where you can buy some of that No Limit gear. Let's see what else. There's another picture of C Murder too right here. Right here. Yeah, who was it, man? A guy I went to school with when we was in middle school. I think he had this picture. Like, he took it out of his CD. He peeled this out of his CD case, and he had it in his locker when he was in middle school. But yeah, man, I was so glad to get my hands on C Murder Life or Death, man. I've been trying to find this album for I don't know how long. I've been trying to find this album for a minute, and I was so glad to get my hands on, because this is my favorite C Murder album, man. I remember the first time I heard it, man. A Second Chance, A Kick Dough, so many great songs on this record, man. Let's see, what's some of my favorites on here, man? Constantly in Danger, A Kick Dough with UGK, Soldiers, the Posse Cut Soldiers, Cluckers, which is kind of like a remake of. Well, it's not a remake. It's more of like an interpolation of Ice-T's Colors. Where I'm From, G's and Max. Oh man, I really dug that song, G's and Max. And there's another song on here. I think Show Me Love which had Mac on it. You see, Watch Your Enemies. Oh yeah, Duck and Run. I like Duck and Run. We had Fiend on the chorus. You better duck and run, nigga. Yeah. Man, I really like that song. I like how they had the gun like cocking and shooting as the beat. Man, that was so ill right there, man. You see, Ghetto Ties, Dreams, and then Survival of the Fittest. Man, this album right here is fire. But if you ain't never heard C Murder's Life or Death, man, you missing out, man. You can stream this on Spotify or and other streaming platforms. It's available, man. But man, I was so glad to get my hands on this one, man. You can tell by the enthusiasm that I was really excited to have a copy, an OG copy of Life or Death, because I haven't seen any reissues of this anywhere. Only Master P's albums I seen the reissues. But yeah, man, C Murder Life or Death, man. So glad they had this. Man, brings back memories, bro. Alright, next album is Silk the Shocker, Charge It to the Game. Released in '98. It's Silk's second album. And I got this would be my third version of having this album, because I got 2 CD versions of it, man. I have one that's like, I think it was like a special edition called a platinum edition of the album that I got from somebody. Then I had like a regular version like this one that somebody gave to me. And finally I was like, you know what? I want to have the case and the liner notes and everything. So I think I bought this one and C Murder's Life or Death at the same time. I think they might have been around the same price range, maybe. I think the Silk the Shocker one was a bit cheaper. I think it was like 20 something. But yeah, man. Again, well taken care of. For this to been only minor like scratches, nothing really to even complain about. To tell you the truth, I don't know if you can see them. I don't know if you can even see them, but there's the liner notes and everything. And let's see what else. More advertisements. C Murder's Life or Death, Masterpiece, The Last Don, another Fiend advertisement, another True N-Words album, True Niggas album. Might as well just say it. I got the Hookup soundtrack. Picture of Silk the Shocker right here. And that No Limit order form where you get like some gear. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, here's another picture of Silk right here. And yeah. Silk, No Limit Soldier for Life. Yeah, man. And yeah, man, Silk's second album, man. Real dope album. I know Silk the Shocker gets a lot of hate. Well, not hate. He gets a lot of criticism for his rapping skills, but I would say that this album and his first album, which was known as The Shocker, were probably his best albums as far as like him, as far as like production and him as a rapper. I'm gonna tell you something. One thing I noticed about Silk the Shocker is that he does his best rapping when he's not trying to be all aggressive and overhyped. When he's not trying to be all aggressive and hyping himself up on tracks, he falls. He falters. When he's just being himself and he's just rapping, like smooth and mellow, that's when he kicks his best lines. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you, Silk is he's actually a West Coast type of rapper. Even though they are from New Orleans, you gotta understand, Silk also grew up in the Bay Area. He also grew up in Richmond, California when No Limit was out there, which is where they got started. So a lot of his style is actually a West Coast rapper. Because if you listen to some of the early No Limit stuff from when they was in the Bay, Silk was actually kicking some pretty nice rhymes. One of his best verses, probably his top verse, is the verse he had on Masterpiece, The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go on YouTube and check out that song. But that is one of Silk's best verses. I mean, he's not being super duper lyrical or anything, but his rhymes are on point and they're solid. So that's one thing I noticed. When he's not trying to be all aggressive on tracks, that's when he really shines. And he does it on here. This was the beginning, or you could say like that, the what you call the album, the True album. Dang, I can't think of the name of that True album. The one that's got Feds and the one that's got Feds and stuff on there, Freak Hoes. True to the Game. Yeah, True to the Game. That was the beginning of him starting to go to that more trying to be hard and aggressive on tracks, and a lot of time his verses just faltered. He does it a little bit on here, but unlike on that album, he actually pulls it off quite well on Charges to the Game. He pulls it off quite well on Charges to the Game. But for the most part, he's just being Silk. Just rapping really good. Give Me the World, he comes really hard on there, but his verses are actually really good. His rhymes are really good on there. But yeah, I really did this. Probably my favorite Silk the Shocker album. And I plan on one day getting my hands on his first album, The Shocker. Because that's a really good record too, man. Alright, so we're going to get to these last two CDs. The ones I had to walk over here and rush and get. So, look, I'm going to do this in order. Alright, so I got this off of FYE, man. But I got the True album. Or as it's known amongst fans as Blood In, Blood Out, which was supposed to be the original title. This album right here. This is an OG version. This is an OG version too. I got it off of FYE. I think it was about $30, but it's in really good condition. They probably replaced the case. Honestly, I think they probably replaced the case, but the booklet, the liner notes and everything, the CD is in really good condition. And I think this was the first album that No Limit released through their deal with Priority, through that 80-20 deal with Priority. I think this was the first album that came out of that deal. Was this album? And this is a different type of No Limit. This is when they were still in the Bay Area. So it it has Beats by the Pound is definitely on here involved. But they were still located in Richmond, California. So it still has that West Coast mob music Bay Area style for the most part. But yeah, here's the bad notes. And this was before No Limit started doing the classic back covers with the No Limit chain and and just the song titles. As you can see, the members are true on the back cover. And King George is still in the group at this point. Here's the advertisements right here for the Ice Cream Man album, Mia X's debut album. What else is down there? Silter Shocker, the Down South Hustlers. Another one I need to get. I need to try to find that Down South Hustlers, man. Let's see what else. Masterpiece, 99 Ways to Die. The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me. Man, I hope one day that there will be a reissue of this album, the original version, not that 1997 messed up version, because that was like a mixtape basically, man. The original version of The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me, but you cannot find a or OG copy of that album for a good price. You're gonna pay some money. I think the most I've seen it for like $1,000. I seen it for $1,000 on Discogs. Yeah, somebody was selling it for $1,000, and I don't know if anybody bought it, but it was the OG version of The Ghetto Trying to Kill Me, and that's actually one of Master P's best records. But you can't get that OG version. You can only get the that '97 remixed version, which is whack because it's not that good of an album, man. That '97 version, because him and King George was beefing, and he took King George off of songs, and he totally deleted songs that had King George, and he replaced them with like newer songs at the time from like the night from '97 that just really messed up the flow of the record. He should have just not even reissued that record, honestly. But back to this True album, man. This one was in print for a long time. I remember seeing this as early as in the early 2000s. I remember seeing it in the early 2000s, and I don't know why I never bought it. And then years later, I ended up having a hard time finding a good copy of this, a reasonable copy for this, and I found it on eBay. So this is probably my number one favorite True album. I really like it because I'm a huge fan of West Coast hip hop, and I like that West Coast hip hop Bay Area sound that they had on here. And this was before Master P really started going and everything like that. Even though they would make him so much money, it's really good to hear P actually rapping. And like I said, if you want better examples of Silter Shocker, as an MC, well, not an MC, but as a rapper, and him spitting some very solid verses and so forth, definitely listen to this album too, because his solo song "Another Day, Another Dollar," he kicked some really solid lines. He kicked some solid lines throughout this whole album. Really good, man. And this is when True had Big Ed and King George in it. This is before it was just regulated to the Miller Boys. But I really dig this album. And last but certainly not least, I got True, the Crime Family, released in '99, and in my opinion, the last real True album, because I don't even count The Truth that came out in 2005, man. I don't count that. But yeah, OG version. Found this at a record store. Everybody knows that album cover, the Mercedes. Everybody knows that album cover, man. And that album, I saw it at Best Buy years ago. It was at Best Buy years ago. I didn't buy it though. I don't know why, but yeah, it was at Best Buy years ago. Got more liner notes. Some of these are repeats. Let's see, the Tank Dogs album that never came out. Although I believe they actually recorded this album, but it never came out. See Murders Trapped in Crime and Short Circuit. He was from, I think one of his kids was a part of Little Soldiers, but I think he was from New York. He was from New York, I think. He was like from the Bronx or somewhere. In the Hot Boys movie, and the No Tomorrow movie. I think I saw that movie. More liner notes. More pics. And I actually have a reissue version of this album that came out on Priority. You know when Snoop was like the chairman of Priority, he was reissuing a lot of those albums, but I wanted to get my hands on an OG copy because I didn't like how he did the reissue cover, and I didn't like how he did that, how that stuff was done. You know, I wanted to see all these liner notes and stuff from like back in the day and things. You know. But yeah, this is probably my honestly. I would say that this is my #1 favorite True album because this was the first True album I heard, and then I'll make this one my second one, and then True to the Game my third. But here's the CD. Here's the CDs. Yeah. But yeah, I was so glad to find this at the record store, man. Cause I always wanted to get my hands on the OG copy of this album. Yeah, this is my favorite True album, man. It was the first one I heard. My cousin had it. My older cousin, he had it. He let me borrow it, and I listened to. I knocked it for a good month or so, then before I gave it back to him. I don't know if he still has it. I don't know if he still has a lot of them CDs, man. But yeah, man, True to the Game, man. I mean, the Crime Family. Yeah, I really like this album, man. Really dope. I always loved that cover too. But yeah, man, this was a huge album, man. Hootie Who was a huge song when it came out, man. I think it's held up with time as well. I think it's a timeless classic, man. And True Homies and a lot of good songs on here. The Tank Goes On, uh, Living Like a Hustler, No Limit Army. Uh, let's see here, We Riders, Bounce to This. A lot of good songs on here, man. But yes, that's it for this video. Me showing you my OG CD pressings of No Limit Records that I've recently gotten. Hope you guys enjoyed this video because I'm just so excited that I was able to get my hands on these few albums right here and found the OG copies of them. I was just so glad to actually have my hands on these, man, because it's like a blast from the past, man, to have these. You know, because I remember growing up seeing them. Of course, I was a small kid at that time. I was like 8 years old. I couldn't like go in the record store and buy them, so I had to hear them from the older homies and stuff like that, man. But it's just really good to finally have my hands on these OG pressings because the reissues, you know, to someone like me who was a fan of No Limit, they just don't do it justice, man. Because outside from the music, it was always getting those No Limit albums and looking at them liner notes, seeing what was the upcoming releases that was coming out. That was always something that was look forward to amongst No Limit fans. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, like, subscribe, and share it to the channel. And stay tuned for the next video. As always, always have a blessed day and love, peace, and music. Peace out.